Hey guys, hope you're having a great day today. My name is Steve. Thank you so much for stopping by my channel. Today I'm going to be reacting to what happens on your UK driving test day. From what I understand, this is also called the practical driving test. Let me know in the comments section, guys, if I have that correct, but I believe that you have two different types of tests that you have to go through in the UK in order to get your driver's license. One being the practical driving test, where you're basically driving around with an instructor and making sure that you can drive properly and whatnot. And the other is basically where you're called the theory test, and you're answering a bunch of questions to make sure that you know generally the rules of the road and know the different signs and things like that. I've done a few different videos about driving in the UK. I learned about your signs on one video, and I've just seen a few of the differences between driving in the UK versus the US, but I definitely have a long way to go to really understand the ins and outs of what it's like to not only get a driver's license in the UK, but also just driving in general. It is completely different in a lot of ways from driving in the US, obviously, down to which side of the road we drive on. But I find this topic really fascinating, and so I've been wanting to do a video like this for some time now, and I came across this video, and I think this will be a really good one to kind of explain to me what happens when you go in on the day you're going to hopefully come away with your driver's license. What happens on that day as you're taking the test? I think it's the practical test, if I'm not mistaken. But anyways, guys, enough rambling from me. Let's go ahead and dive in and check out what happens on your UK driving test day.
Before test day arrives, it is really important to ensure you have the correct documentation ready. You must have your provisional license ready to take and your theory test pass certificate.
Okay, right off the bat, I learned something new. So your provisional license is what we would probably call the learner's permit. Is that correct? How old do you have to be to get your provisional license? And what all is involved with that? Because I'm guessing you had to actually take a similar test to what you're doing here in order to get the permit. And now you come back and you get the license through another practical test, right? I've got to look into that too. Guys, if anyone has a good video to share with me about a provisional license or like what's all involved with that, please let me know, because that's obviously a step to actually getting your full-on license in the UK. And so you also have already had to have passed your theory test in order to get to the practical driving test like we're doing here. Okay.
If you wear glasses, make sure they are clean and ready. Try and get a good night's sleep and confirm with your driving instructor where and when you will meet. If you are taking your test in your own vehicle, it must be clean, roadworthy and fully insured for you to drive it.
Makes sense, yeah.
Make sure it is clean and presentable with nothing loose on the floor, and it has an additional rear view mirror for the examiner to use.
Wait, an additional rear view mirror? Wait. Oh, wait, I see it up here. You have to bring a separate rear view mirror for the driving instructor? That's wild. Okay. So do you have to go buy that yourself? That's wild, man. And so you just stick that on the window. Okay. Let me know in the comments, guys. You have to actually buy a separate mirror for the instructor.
Legal L plates must be displayed clearly on the front and back of the vehicle.
Extra mirror. Oh, the extra mirror. Yeah.
Most instructors will meet you 1 hour before your test. This will allow you to practice your manoeuvres and settle your nerves before you get to the test centre.
That's good. Be able to relax and have a conversation.
It's a good idea to get to the test centre a little bit before your test time, but not too early, as sitting waiting too long could cause your nerves to escalate.
Yeah.
Take this opportunity to go through all the show me, tell me questions with your instructor.
Show me, tell me questions.
Even if you remember them, it doesn't hurt just to check.
Show me,
and it will
tell me
also
questions.
act as a distraction that will help to settle your nerves. As you have driven to the test centre, your mirrors and seat position should be set up correctly. But if you want to just take a moment to sit in the driver's seat and double check, again, this is something else to focus on and help.
Hold on, guys. What are show me, tell me questions? And I also just noticed here that it doesn't look like they actually have a second mirror here. So Is it not always required to have the second mirror, like she was saying just a moment ago? I have no idea.
Help you stay calm. Once you have met your examiner, they will check your eyesight and driving licence. They will explain how the test will work, including how they will direct you and whether you will be using the sat-nav for the independent driving portion of the test.
Wait, they actually check your eyesight there? That's definitely different. That's another difference that I'm seeing from the U.S. version of a driver's test. Obviously, tests change a little bit depending on the state you're in, but most are pretty similar, you know. But basically, we get our eyesight checked like at the same time you're taking what you probably would consider the theory test. When we go in and take the written test, that's when you have your eyesight checked, and you're not getting it checked when you're on the driving portion of the test. All right. Is this the only time you're having your eyesight checked, or is it also being checked when you do your theory test as well?
They will then ask you a tell me question and explain that they will ask the show me question later on during the test.
Tell me question.
The examiner is expecting you to drive safely and legally on a variety of roads and in different traffic conditions. They will give you directions clearly and in good time.
Wow.
And you can always ask for them to be repeated. Whilst driving, be sure to stay alert and aware of others around you by using your mirrors correctly and show good awareness and judgment when dealing with other road users. Keep calm and try and maintain a good level of concentration. The examiner is looking for you to drive confidently and smoothly and make decisions independently. At some point during the test, you will be asked to complete a manoeuvre. This will be either the pull up on the right, forward bay park, reverse bay park, or parallel park manoeuvre.
I knew parallel park would have to be in there.
If you have been having lessons with an instructor, you should have had plenty of practice to ensure you can consistently complete each manoeuvre to the required standard. The examiner will explain clearly which manoeuvre they would like you to do and what they expect to see. Remember that you must maintain effective observations all around your car during the manoeuvre and react to any hazards you see. There is no need to rush, so take as long as you need to complete the manoeuvre safely. If you have any questions, don't hesitate to ask.
That's good, man. The not needing to rush. I think that is one thing that probably gets a lot of people. They feel like they have to rush. And that alone would make you nervous, you know what I mean? Especially if you're if you're a new driver, you're just starting.
In addition to a manoeuvre, you may be asked to carry out the emergency stop routine on your test.
Emergency stop.
The examiner will ask you to pull over at the side of the road and then explain clearly what they would like you to do. Once you resume driving, try to drive normally until the examiner gives you the instruction to stop. Be sure to react promptly and stop the car as quickly as possible while staying in full control. Imagine how you would react if a small child had run out in front of you. Brake very hard until the car has stopped. There is no need to check your mirrors or smooth your braking force as you would normally. The examiner will then say that you won't be doing that again and that you can drive on when you are ready. Finally, remember that you must check both blind spots before pulling away, or you will be given a serious fault and fail the whole driving test.
Ho ho! Just like that, you would fail the whole driving test. Wow. Guys, it definitely would. I'm just seeing how this is like driving on the left, and it would definitely take me a bit to get used to. I mean, I think that's like anybody, you know, when you're used to driving on one side of the road, man, it's like, to drive on the opposite is completely it's so different than your brain is used to. It's just, it's kind of hard I can just see, like, I would get used to it after, a little while, but it would definitely take a moment to get used to this.
The independent driving part of the test will take about 20 minutes and could be at any time during the test route. The examiner will explain whether you will need to follow their sat-nav or directions on traffic signs. Follow the directions as well as you can, but remember that the objective is to show that you can stay calm and drive safely at all times. Remember, you will not fail for making a wrong turn, but you will if you make an unsafe manoeuvre in an attempt to stay on the correct route. As in real life, taking a wrong turn and a short detour is far better than driving erratically and causing danger. If you miss a sign or don't understand what the sat-nav is telling you, just ask the examiner for directions. They will be happy to help. If there is no time to ask, just follow the road ahead, as this is usually the easiest and safest option. The examiner will tell you when the independent driving section is finished, and they will direct you normally from then on.
So basically, the independent driving section, I'm guessing, is basically where they're not telling you where to go anymore. They're not telling you what to do. Your goal here is just for an allotted period of time to basically just drive wherever you want to go. And just make sure you're following the signs and the rules of the road. They want to see that. What would you look like if you're just out and about driving on your own with nobody there? I think that's what that section is, which would be different, which would be major different from what we did here in the U.S. Generally speaking, you're basically told where to go on a driving test from what I remember, just the whole time. There was no like, well, you go on your own, and I'm just going to watch you. Obviously, they're watching for what you're doing, but they're going to be telling you where to go at all times, what turns to make and whatnot.
If you do make a mistake at any point of the test, don't panic. It will more than likely be a minor mistake and doesn't mean you have failed. Remember that you are allowed 15 minor or driving faults during the test.
Oh,
so just keep
15
going.
minor driving faults. Okay.
Whilst you are driving, the examiner will be making notes on your driving on their tablet.
I think that's good. For simple fact, a new driver, like I was saying, he's going to be nervous in the first place. So some of the things that he might not normally make a mistake doing might just kind of, just be nervous and mess up a little bit. I think it's good that they give you some leeway there. You know what I mean? I do not remember what that looks like here in the U.S., what kind of how many mistakes you can make or whatnot. Obviously, you can't make some of the critical mistakes like running over a curb or something like that. But maybe if you didn't slow down fast enough or something like that, they probably wouldn't take points off for that.
Tablet computer. Try not to worry about what they are doing, as they have to record a lot of information during the test. Not just when you have committed a fault, but also which manoeuvre they have asked you to do, or if they did get you to complete an emergency stop.
Roundabouts, man.
Instead,
something I'm not used to at all.
Ahead of you so that you can drive as safely as possible. Once you have completed your test route and have arrived back at the test centre, the examiner will complete their paperwork and will give you your result. As long as you haven't accrued 16 or more driving faults, or a single serious or dangerous fault, then you have passed your test. It is normally a good idea to have your instructor present for the debrief to listen to the explanation if you have passed. Listen to what the examiner is saying, because even if you have passed, you may have made a few minor faults and you could still learn from them and improve your driving beyond test standard.
What did you think you'd done?
If you have failed, don't worry. Listen to the examiner's explanation and focus on these in your next lesson with your instructor. Carry on having lessons to fix your mistakes and continue to better your driving before your next test.
All right, guys. That was really, really interesting. I thought it would be. I just find this subject really fascinating to see the differences and similarities in what's going on with the driving in general, just all the driving stuff. But definitely saw quite a few differences here than what I remember going through when I was taking my driving test. I think you guys called this the practical test, right? We just call it the driving test. We got the, I don't remember what we call the question and answer version, like a practical test. No, like a theory test. What you call a theory test, I think we just call it like the paper test, or I don't know. I'll have to look that up. But definitely quite a few differences. It's definitely more thorough. You have to go through a more thorough process now in the UK. Now in the US, I mean, it could have changed some. Like, since I took my driver's license test and got my driver's license, but I don't think it's changed that much, right? I know my nephew just got a driver's license, what, like 4 years ago or so, and I kind of it was pretty much about the same as what I went through. But you know, I'm also curious what goes on when you need to renew your license. Do you have to go through some kind of big process, or is it as simple as, you know, getting online and paying your fee? Here, generally speaking, you basically usually will get online to pay your fee, but I don't know exactly how this works, but every so often you may need to go in to get your eyesight checked. But if you haven't had any tests, or I mean any tickets or any major issues with your driving since your last driver's license renewal, you generally don't have to go through anything. It's once you prove that you can drive one time, you're usually pretty good for forever, unless you basically have tickets and stuff, which I personally don't. Knock on wood, if I have wood. I generally drive pretty safe, and I'm a good driver. I'm a great driver, actually. Very, very good driver. I will say that about myself. I'm definitely a very good driver. But I will say, you guys definitely have to go through a little more. It's a little more involved to be a driver in the UK. I can definitely see that. It seems to be, you guys are definitely wanting to make sure drivers are safe on the road, and I can appreciate that. Definitely seems like you're, I think one thing that's a big difference is that in the UK, from what I understand, let me know if I'm wrong, but it seems like whether you're in England, Wales, Scotland, or Northern Ireland, you're probably going to have the general same process getting your license. I don't know about the Republic of Ireland, but in the UK itself, it seems like you're going to have the same process. But here in the States, it's mostly the same, but you're going to find a little bit differences between some of the states on the rules and regulations and whatnot, because most driving stuff is controlled by the states instead of the country, which it seems to be the difference here in the UK, because otherwise you would basically have to, you don't have states, but you have counties. And so I can't imagine you're going to have your driving rules and regulations set by the county. So that doesn't make any sense. But guys, love this topic. Please let me know or recommend some stuff in the comments you think I might want to check out more about this topic. I still have a long way to go to truly understand the differences in all the facets of driving within the UK. But definitely we'll explore this some more going forward in the future. But thank you so much for stopping by, guys. Please click that like button. Feel free to drop your comments or suggestions about this video or others. And don't forget to subscribe to continue to follow me on my journey to discover my British and Irish ancestry. Till next time, guys. Peace.